Lena sighed as she settled into her usual seat on the 11:45 p.m. train from Ashford to London. Every night she took this train, a comforting rhythm in her otherwise chaotic life. The familiar rocking of the carriage usually lulled her into a light sleep. Tonight, however, something felt different. The train seemed unusually empty. Lena noticed only a handful of passengers scattered throughout the carriages. Where were the usual crowds returning from late-night outings? The silence was unsettling, amplifying every creak and groan of the aging train. Lena tried to ignore the prickling unease crawling up her spine. She busied herself with a book, her eyes darting nervously around the carriage. The train rattled on, the rhythmic clatter of the wheels against the tracks usually a comforting lullaby. But tonight, it sounded different, more urgent, almost frantic. Lena's heart pounded in her chest, mirroring the train's frantic pace. She glanced at her watch, surprised to see they were running late. They should have reached London by now. The minutes ticked by, each one stretching into an eternity. Lena felt a knot of dread forming in her stomach. The train showed no signs of slowing down, let alone stopping. Where were they going? Why hadn't the conductor announced the delay? Her unease grew with every passing moment. The other passengers, their faces obscured by shadows, remained eerily silent. No one seemed to notice or care about the unusual delay. Lena's breaths grew shallow and rapid. She felt a cold sweat prickle on her skin. She decided to find the conductor, seeking reassurance or at least an explanation. Leaving her belongings on the seat, she cautiously made her way through the deserted carriages. Each empty carriage she passed heightened her fear. The silence was deafening, broken only by the relentless clatter of the train speeding into the unknown. Lena's heart pounded in her ears as she finally reached the driver's cabin. She knocked tentatively, her breath catching in her throat. There was no answer. She tried the handle, but it was securely locked. Desperation clawed at her. Panic surged through her, threatening to overwhelm her. She was trapped on a runaway train, hurtling towards an unknown destination. The silence, the emptiness, the locked cabin, it all felt like a scene from a horror movie. Lena stumbled back to her seat, her mind racing. She had to find a way to stop the train, to escape this nightmare. But how? She glanced around frantically, searching for anything, any clue that could help her understand what was happening. Section 4. A blast from the past. Her eyes landed on a discarded newspaper tucked beneath the seat opposite her. It looked ancient, its edges yellowed and brittle. She picked it up, her fingers trembling. The date on the front page sent a chill down her spine. April 13th, 1983. Skimming through the faded print, her eyes fell upon a chilling headline. Train disappears from Ashford station, no survivors found. The article described a late-night train from Ashford to London, vanishing into thin air, never to be seen again. A train that looked exactly like the one she was on. A wave of nausea washed over Lena as she realized the terrifying truth. She was on that train. The train that never stopped. The train that had vanished without a trace. But how? Section 5. The choice. Panic threatened to consume her. She clutched the newspaper, her knuckles white with fear. As she glanced up, her eyes met her reflection in the window. But it wasn't her. The face staring back at her was pale, almost translucent. Her eyes filled with an unearthly glow. A ghostly doppelganger. Suddenly the train lurched, jolting Lena back to the present. A crackle sounded from the intercom, followed by a voice, distorted and distant. Next stop, the end of the line. The voice sent shivers down her spine, each word laced with icy dread. Lena's heart pounded against her ribs. The announcement echoed in the silent carriage, a death knell. She was trapped, or was she? The emergency exit. Could she risk it? The train was slowing down, the scenery outside a blur of darkness. The choice was hers. Stay and face the unknown horror, or risk the leap into the darkness.